What's up, YouTube? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live video. My name is Zach Pasquarello. I own a bookkeeping business. Today is February 28th, 2024. In this video, I want to talk specifically about the numbers. How much money am I making? And let me just be completely honest and transparent with you up front. The whole reason that I do these videos, the whole reason I talk about my numbers is because I want to prove to you that it's possible for you to do exactly what I've been able to do. I am not any smarter than you. There's nothing special about me. I'm just a regular person who started a bookkeeping business 3 years ago, and now I share all of my experience with you just so that you can do exactly what I've been able to do. Literally, the only reason I make these videos is because I genuinely enjoy talking about my bookkeeping business. So here I am. I'm going to share with you specifically how I am able to make $200,000 per year in my bookkeeping business. And let me just start off by saying, if you have any questions, feel free to drop a question in the chat of this video. I will do my best to answer any questions you guys might have, whether it's about starting a bookkeeping business or growing a bookkeeping business, how to learn QuickBooks, how to learn bookkeeping, what to do with sales and marketing, how to provide customer service. Any questions you might have, let me know. I will do my best to answer all of your questions. Okay, so let me start off by sharing a real quick story. And it specifically ties into how I'm able to make $200,000 per year. So I just got a new client literally yesterday. This was kind of the inspiration for making this live stream today. I just got a client yesterday, and let me tell you a quick story of how I got this client. So first of all, let me start by saying I don't pay for any advertising. If you guys have been following me for any amount of time, you already know that all of my advertising, all of my marketing is done by me for free on social media. So I don't pay for advertising. I don't pay anybody to do it for me. I don't pay for like PPC advertising on Google or Facebook, all free, which is cool because if you're anything like me, 3 years ago, like I didn't have thousands of dollars to spend on advertising, which means you can do everything that I'm about to talk about, which is cool. So I just got a client yesterday. And spoiler alert, they're paying me $950 per month just to do their bookkeeping. So I'm not doing their taxes, I'm not doing their payroll, just straight up bookkeeping, $950 per month. And they're a real estate investor. And here's the story. Here's how it happened. So back in August, I friend requested them on Facebook, which if you know anything about my marketing strategy, like that's all I do is Facebook. And so I friend requested this particular business owner on Facebook, and I sent him a message 30 days after we became Facebook friends. And then he expressed interest, and I gave him a quote, basically. Long story short, I gave him a quote back in August, and then I never heard from him again. And then, but like I've been telling you guys, once somebody expresses interest, that is considered a warm lead. So now it's fair game. I added him to my tracker, and I have been emailing him every single month since August because he expressed interest. He invited me to his QuickBooks. I even gave him a quote, and I didn't hear from him after I sent him a quote, but I didn't give up. And that's the whole key to all of this. Like I always say, you got to be ruthless and relentless following up with your warm leads. So let me finish this story. Every single month since August, I've been emailing this guy, just really simple, like nothing annoying, nothing too crazy, just really simple. Like, hey, do you still need help with your bookkeeping? Let me know. Really simple email every single month. And then finally, yesterday, he emailed me back and he said, hey, yes, I do still need help with my bookkeeping. I said, great. I got invited to his QuickBooks again. I gave him a quote all over again. And I actually looked to see, and he was paying a bookkeeper from August of last year until February of this year, which means that he was not happy with his current bookkeeper, which means that whenever I quoted him back in August, he chose somebody else, which is totally cool. That's fine. But that other person was only charging $550. So he was willing to pay me $950 per month for the exact same services. But he reached out to me, or he responded to my email because his current bookkeeper wasn't doing a good job. And then he was annoyed and frustrated, whatever, because his bookkeeping was not updated and accurate like he thought it would be. So he was willing to pay me almost double for the exact same service as long as I was able to provide updated and accurate financial reports. So if you guys know anything about kind of what I talk about, my strategy for starting a bookkeeping business, step number 1, learn bookkeeping in QuickBooks. Step number 2, do sales and marketing. But step number 3, and this is where that previous bookkeeper failed. Step number 3, you need to deliver high quality customer service. Step number 1 and step number 2 are totally pointless if you don't deliver high quality customer service. Because in this example, he chose somebody else, but they were not doing a good job. So he fired them and he paid me almost double. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's crazy. He's paying me double to do the same job, but I'm actually going to do it. So I tell people this, there's good, fast, and cheap. You can only pick 2. So I always pride myself on being good and being fast. I don't pride myself on being cheap. If you try to price cut and price race whatever with other bookkeepers, it's literally a race to the bottom. Like if I say I'll do it for 500, she says 400, he says 300, like we're racing to the bottom. Nobody wins. But if you quote your fees appropriately, then you can manage the amount of clients who you have. Like I would so rather have 5 really good clients paying me $1,000 a month, and I can actually do a really good job and slowly build my business. I'd much rather have that than have like 20 clients paying me $400 a month. So like I'm still making $5,000 per month, but instead of 5 clients, I have 20 clients and I'm communicating with, like, you get it. Like I would much rather have a few higher paying clients who I can actually do a really good job and provide really high quality services. I'd much rather have that than have like way too many clients who I underquoted and now I'm overworked and I'm doing a bad job. Like the person before me for this particular real estate investor probably is quoting too low. So yeah, they might be getting more clients than me, but they're not able to keep up with the workload because they're underquoting, they're getting too many clients, and they're overworked and they're not able to do a good job. So now, not only did this person lose this client, but they potentially ruined their reputation. So now they might get a bad Google review. They certainly will not get a word of mouth referral from this particular real estate investor. And they've potentially tarnished their reputation. Like you only get one reputation. So whatever you do, step number 3, deliver high quality customer service is by far the absolute most important thing that you can do to sustain and grow your bookkeeping business. So I see a couple questions in the chat and I'm absolutely going to get to those questions in a few minutes, but I just want to talk about real quick, like specifically numbers, like what does my bookkeeping business look like? And like I said before, I'm not doing this to brag. I'm seriously just doing this so that you guys can kind of see like a real world example of what a bookkeeping business can be after 3 years. So let me pull up my current list of clients right here. Like I'm literally looking at an Excel spreadsheet right now on my computer with my current clients. And I have 56 clients. On average, those 56 clients pay me $426. So I have a minimum set at $200 per month. So whatever, no matter what, whatever size your business is, even if it's brand new, I have a bare minimum. I'm not talking to anybody unless they're willing to pay me $200 per month. And if I were you, if I were me starting over 3 years ago, I think that's a great place to start. Just because like dealing with a client in and of itself is like potentially a difficult task, like just dealing with a client. So to set your price at a bare minimum of $200 is just going to protect you. Like anything less than $200, it's honestly not worth your time. You have to onboard the client, you have to bill the client, you have to respond to their emails, reconcile at least one account, send them a profit and loss every single month. It's just not worth it. So like whatever, that's my bare minimum. I don't care who you are, how small your company is. If you're not willing to pay $200 per month, we can't work together. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So seriously, if I had one piece of advice for you getting started, don't take anybody. I know you might get a client and they're like $100 a month. Oh, awesome. I got my first client. Not worth it. Don't do it. $200 a month, bare minimum. Okay, so I have 56 clients, $426 per month on average, and currently $23,876 of monthly recurring revenue as I sit right now. 23,876. I don't know the math exactly. I don't want to waste your time, but I think that might be close to 300,000. I'll do it real quick. Let me pull up my calculator. 23,876 times 12 is $286,000 per year. And that's assuming no growth, and that's assuming I don't lose any clients. But I'm going to lose clients, and I'm going to get clients, and I'm going to get cleanup projects. So there's roughly how much money I can expect to make over the next 12 months. Now, let me take it a step further, and let me tell you real quick. So I got my first client on this list January 2021, and I still have them. They are my oldest client. And then in 2021, I only have 6 of the clients who I got in 2021. So I've gotten a bunch of clients in 2021. I lost a bunch of clients in 2021, but as I am right now, I still have 6 of the clients who I got in 2021. And in 2022, I only have 7. So 6 clients in 21, 7 clients in 2022. Now keep in mind, I got more clients in 2022, but since then I've lost them. Now 2023 is where things got crazy. So my annual income in 2021 was like 70,000. 2022, I was like 120,000. And then 2023, things exploded. In 2023, I got 35 clients in 2023 alone. And so I had, at the end of 2023, I had 48 clients making almost $20,000 per year. So my business went from like 70K in 2021 to 120K in 2022 to like close to 300,000 in 2023. And I didn't do anything special other than like literally, if you guys follow along, you already know, like I try to keep things simple. Like all I do is bookkeeping. All I work with is QuickBooks Online. And all I do for advertising and marketing is Facebook. I make YouTube tutorials. I make some for you guys. Like I make my QuickBooks tutorials for you guys, bookkeepers, so that you can learn how to do bookkeeping. And I also make my tutorials for like regular business owners, just in case they are trying to do their own bookkeeping. They watch my tutorial, they schedule a consultation with me, and then they hire me because they realize they can't do it. I get a few clients through that, but seriously, the majority of my clients come from Facebook. And then I worked really hard to get a ton of Google reviews. So I have over 100 5-star Google reviews. And then above all, more important than your bookkeeping knowledge, more important than your QuickBooks experience, more important than your sales script or your marketing strategy, none of that matters. Seriously, I truly believe the key to my success has been my emphasis on high quality customer service. And like honestly, for us bookkeepers, and then this is the last thing I'm going to talk about, and then I promise I'll get to the questions in the chat. Okay, so if you guys have any questions about how I got to where I am now or what I did in 2021 or 2022, let me know and I'll answer your questions in a second. But seriously, the key to my success has just been my focus on customer service. And honestly, like we are bookkeepers. It's really not that complicated. The only thing we need to do to deliver high quality customer service, like first of all, you got to be nice, polite, professional. Like that goes without saying. That's any industry, any business. Just be a good person. That'll go a long way. But for our services, we need to be organized. So we need to be able to respond to emails, and we need to organize our documents, and we need to remember things. If somebody tells us something a month ago or last year, we need to have records, and we need to have an organization system where we know like, okay, these are the client's bank accounts. These are their credit card accounts. These are their loan accounts. These are their vendors, their customers, their invoices, accounts payable, 1099s. Like, we need to be organized. That's kind of like the whole theme of bookkeeping. Like, we need to be organized. And then we just need to be able to communicate. So organization from like an operational standpoint, and then communication from like a customer service perspective. Be polite, but then just also be responsive to emails, phone calls, text messages. It can be really, really overwhelming. But the good news is for us, we sit at a computer all day. So there's really no excuse for us to not answer the phone or to not respond to emails. I have a bunch of clients who are truckers or general contractors, and they're like driving a truck all day, or they're like swinging a hammer building houses all day. So of course, like the general contractors and the truckers, like obviously they're not going to be able to respond to emails throughout the day because they're literally working on their business all day. But for us, we have no excuse. We're sitting behind a computer. We have our laptop right in front of us. We need to respond to emails. I try to respond to emails within 24 hours. I try to answer my phone every time it rings. And that's pretty much been like the secret to my growth over the past 3 years, is delivering high quality customer service. Okay, that's enough of that. Now let me get to the questions. Let's see. Samir, any advice to find first client? That's the first question. That's a pretty broad question, and I will give you a broad answer. Focus on sales and marketing early and be consistent and commit to a long-term goal. Samir, if you have more questions, like specifically, feel free to ask them in the chat and I will do my best to specifically answer your questions. But you just have to be consistent every day and commit to a long-term goal. Megan, hey Zach, love your channel. It has been super helpful in starting my own bookkeeping business. I've had my first 2 discovery calls and sent quotes, hoping to land my first 2 clients. That is awesome. Super proud of you. The one thing I will say, I think you already had your discovery calls and you already sent quotes. Protect yourself. So don't do any more work until your clients pay you. I know it's going to be tempting because like you're brand new and you just got a couple clients, maybe potentially, but I can't tell you how many times I have sent a quote and even got a signature on the client agreement and then they never pay the invoice. So I know you're excited and it is exciting. It's awesome. You're about to start and grow your bookkeeping business, but protect yourself. Like invoice them first and don't do any work until they pay their invoice. It's one thing if the client says, "Hey, I got your invoice. I'll pay it right away." That's great, but just like be transparent and communicate upfront. Just let them know, like, "Hey, great. As soon as the invoice is paid, I will get to work right away." Simon Bradley, do you think there is a demand for just QuickBooks services, not even any other bookkeeping other than just QuickBooks management? That's all I do. So yes, there absolutely is a demand. I only work with QuickBooks Online and I do all of my bookkeeping through QuickBooks Online. So like kind of a good way to conceptualize my services, whenever I am talking to new clients, I tell them, they're like, "So what do you do?" I tell them I do bookkeeping. I do 3 things. I categorize your transactions, I reconcile your accounts, and I generate financial reports. And then I tell them basically everything you are doing right now in QuickBooks, I do it for you. So you never have to log into QuickBooks ever again if you never want to. So like the services I offer are bookkeeping, but they're basically QuickBooks management. Alicia, Rebecca, learning that bookkeeping and having some tax planning knowledge go hand in hand. Do you have any advice for bookkeepers learning simple tax planning to help clients save on taxes? Thank you. So my first piece of advice, definitely do your own taxes if you don't already. Like learn how to do your own taxes. I use freetaxusa.com. Great software. You can create fake accounts and you can go through fake tax returns if you want. Other than that, you're just going to learn by trial and error. Like if you guys know like an 1120S, a 1065, they're both due March 15th, for example. Like that's just a very specific example, but I did not know that my first year of bookkeeping. I had no idea what an 1120S was. I had no idea what a 1065 was. And if you don't know what that is right now, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, you are not expected to know how to do taxes as a bookkeeper. So don't worry about it. But you're just going to learn naturally. Like, as things come up, clients are going to ask you questions, do some research, and then you learn it. Like, it's a very natural process. Like, you want to make sure you understand bookkeeping and QuickBooks, but taxes, that's going to come naturally as you get more experience. The one thing I will say is a great idea: partner with a CPA. So find an owner operator who is a CPA and work with him or her and develop a good relationship. Refer all of your clients to them for taxes, and hopefully they refer all of their clients to you for bookkeeping, and then you can ask them questions and hopefully they can give you some advice on taxes. Let's see, UP Ishara. Hi, Zach. Good day. Your channel is super helpful. I'm so happy to help. Expect some more real estate QBO tutorials. Thank you. I certainly can try. I will try to give some more QBO tutorials. I am happy to hear those are helpful. Let's see, Kristen, do you do any in-person marketing or only through social media? I do not do any in-person marketing. I do not, like, there's a really famous networking group called BNI, and I do not do that. I've heard a lot of people enjoy it, but it costs money to be in the BNI group, and I'm just not a super big fan of that. Recently, I did start let me talk for 5 minutes. Let me talk for 3 minutes about in-person networking real quick. So, first of all, in-person networking is pretty scary. Like, if you are not like an outgoing, extroverted person, in-person networking might be really scary for you. So just be careful. If you're not into that kind of thing, then maybe don't do it. Social media and like being in the comfort of your own home, behind a screen, is much easier. So if you're afraid of that, maybe it's not good for you. Also, it takes a lot of time. It's usually a big time commitment. You got to get dressed. You got to do your hair. You got to drive somewhere. You got to be in person for an hour. You might meet one person, maybe 5 people, maybe at most you're going to meet 10 people. And then you got to drive home. And it's like, it could potentially take 2 hours, maybe 4 hours. It could take half of your day meeting 10 people, which might pay dividends in the future. But I think it's important to really examine, like, why am I doing this? Are you like really trying to get a new client? Or do you just maybe enjoy in-person networking events? If you want to do it, like if you just like want to go out and meet new people, and if you enjoy networking events, by all means, go and do it. But if you are really trying to be efficient and optimize your time and get the most exposure, I think you're gonna have a better time on social media. I can make one video and have 500 people watch it versus meeting 10 people in person. Now I get it, like somebody watching my 30-second video on Facebook is not nearly as impactful as shaking someone's hand and meeting them in real life and talking to them for 10 minutes. I get that. But 4 hours of a networking event compared to 5 minutes of creating a Facebook video, like, it's much different. So if you genuinely want to go out and meet new people, by all means, like, it's a good idea. It's kind of fun. I've done it recently. But if you are pressed for time, which I'm assuming the majority of us are pressed for time, like for me, I've got kids, I've got a wife, I've got friends and family. Like, I can't just go out every night or even go out on the weekends and like go to networking events because I've got kids at home, and most networking events do happen in the evening at like 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Like, I don't have time to do that. And also, yeah, so if you want to do it, if you want to meet some people, go ahead and do it. But if you're really just genuinely just trying to get clients, I don't think networking events are necessary or the most efficient use of your time. So that was kind of a long explanation, but I've thought a lot about networking events and I feel kind of strongly about them. Like, I think they're great, but I think they have their time and place. Okay, let's go back to the questions. I don't know how to say your name. Consciencia Katolika. Do you have some customers in the restaurant industry? I have one restaurant. So yes, if you have more questions, let me know. Steele Sadler, nice to see you again. I've definitely seen you around. For the Facebook groups you target, have you expanded out of your city region? Yes. Yep. I am Facebook friends with people all over the country at this point. Yes, I started with Facebook groups close to my geographical region, but yes, I have expanded. Suzmart, hey Zach, so QuickBooks called me today because I am now an accountant in QBO. They want me to become a ProAdvisor. Anything I should know, or should I just hear them out? So becoming a ProAdvisor involves you passing a test, and the test is actually pretty difficult, but it is the one and only certification that I recommend everybody get. So yes, I absolutely think that you should become a QuickBooks ProAdvisor. So definitely do it. But it's going to take you a couple weeks, and it is kind of hard. I failed the test 3 times, so it's pretty tough, but you should do it. I think everybody should do it. Facebook policy doesn't allow me to send 50 requests per day. I'm from Jamaica, by the way. Love your channel. I appreciate that. Hello to Jamaica, Black Sheep. Try spacing out your friend requests. So maybe just send 5 at a time. Like every hour, send 5 friend requests. That might be easier, and your Facebook might not get hit with spam. Try spreading them out. And also, you have to send friend requests to people who have mutual friends with you. If you try to send a friend request to somebody with no mutual friends, Facebook is going to assume that is spam. So try to target people with mutual friends. Suzmart, you said also you advised for cleaning up the books yesterday. That was fabulous. I just about have it all cleaned up, and the numbers are looking so much better. Thank you very much. You're welcome. So happy I could help. Giovanni, what kind of businesses do you connect with on social media? So on social media, I connect with any business owner. I target a lot of real estate investors and general contractors, but here's the story. So if you go to Facebook groups, I usually target Facebook groups that are local to my geographical region, and you want to go to the members page. So there's a page in every Facebook group that has a list of all the members. And in that list, you can click on members with things in common. And then in this list, you can scroll down and you can get everybody who is in this group who has something in common with you, which is typically mutual friends. And then you can take it a step further. Facebook also, for whatever reason, they show everybody's job title underneath their name. And most business owners put that they are owner at Harrisburg Bookkeeping as their job and their job title. So you can get this long list of people in this group, and then you can just do Control F on your computer, and then you can essentially just go down the list and friend request everybody who has owner in their job title. I use words like owner, self-employed, entrepreneur, CEO, founder, president. All of those titles are typically used for business owners. Okay, let's see. Where are we? What kind? Let's see. I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry, but you asked, hi, are all your clients from the US? Yes, all of my clients. I live in the United States, and all of my clients also live in the United States. Simon Bradley, thanks for answering on QuickBooks. Really helpful. It motivates me to get started. Do you have any guesses as to why the big jump increase for you in 2023? I think that my business just kind of naturally grew. I got more Google reviews on Google My Business. Like everything just naturally grew, and it grew exponentially. My clients grew, therefore my word of mouth referrals grew, and I had more reviews on Google, so more people are likely to trust me, more people end up calling me, more people end up hiring me. I have more Facebook followers. I didn't really change the amount. I certainly did not do more sales and marketing in 2023. Like straight up, I probably did more sales and marketing in 2022. So basically, like all the work that I did in 2021 and 2022 was just finally paying off in 2023. A lot of my current clients, we have been Facebook friends for a long time. So this is something really interesting that happened to me. I recently got connected with a real estate investor CFO services company. So a company that has a bunch of CFO advisors, and they specifically target real estate investors. And I thought, wow, what an awesome opportunity. I'm going to try to become a preferred bookkeeper for these CFO investors in this real estate group. I thought this is amazing. Like this is a no-brainer. Like I'm about to grow my business like crazy. And I actually got 2 interviews like with these CFOs and their clients, and they were interviewing me for bookkeeping services. The problem is that they had never heard of me before. Like they were cold leads, basically. Like they did not know who I was. This was our first time talking. And so we had like a 10-minute consultation on the phone, and I gave them my sales pitch. They invited me to their QuickBooks. I gave them a quote, and both of them said no. And I was like, oh man, like that sucks. I reached out to the CFO. I said, hey, what happened? Why, what did I do wrong? They said, you didn't do anything wrong. They just went with somebody else because they were cheaper. And all of a sudden I realized, like, I don't even want to have a sales call with someone until they have been exposed to my Facebook for 6 months. And that was such an incredible mindset shift for me. It completely changed the way I view sales and marketing. Cold leads in my situation are basically useless because, like I said in the beginning, you can have good, fast, or cheap. You can only pick 2. And I don't pride myself on being the cheapest. But if it's just a cold lead, and if this person is interviewing 4 other bookkeepers, why? Like, unless I say something incredibly like unintelligent in the sales call, if I'm the cheapest, like why not go with me? Like they don't know who I am. They don't know anything about me. Like why not go with me? Almost all of my clients who I have right now, they're like, hey, I want to go with you because I've been following you on Facebook for the past 6 months. And like, I don't care. Like you're going to be my bookkeeper no matter what. So like, what do we need to do to get started? And those, I'm serious, those are the best clients. Those are the best sales calls. Like I'm done with that CFO group because it's a waste of my time. Like I'm not going to compete with 4 other bookkeepers and get outbid by $50 and like lose a prospective client. Like that's a waste of my time. I'm going to spend all of my energy on fostering relationships on Facebook with these business owners. And the way you do it, like I'm serious guys, it's so easy. It's ridiculous. All you do is just create content every day, friend request these business owners, and then most importantly, you have to engage with your community. Like you have to comment on their posts, you have to respond to their comments, reply to their comments, and just be positive, uplifting, and professional. And then this will just help you establish relationships. Like it's all about relationships, and they need to be real and genuine. So I don't know what I'm talking about, but the moral of the story is cold leads, at least in my experience, are useless. Like I want warm leads. I want people who have seen my Facebook content for 6 months. Those are the people who I want to focus all of my energy on because they are so much more likely to hire me and also potentially pay a little bit more for my services. Okay, I don't know what your question was, but sorry, I just went off on a little tangent. Let's see. What is your bookkeeping business annual? Let's see, where are we? Do you have advice to pitch services to potential clients when you're first starting out? Do you have advice? So while I have you guys, let me give you a real quick sales pitch. Do you have advice to pitch services to potential clients? So first and foremost, most importantly, I let the client do all the talking in the beginning. So I start literally every single conversation. So I've gotten this feedback a couple times. I am a very direct person, which that's fine. Like, that's just my personality. Like, I am not going to have a ton of small talk. I'm just a very direct person, and that's just who I am, and that's fine. What I do, every single conversation, I start out by saying, hey, this is Zach Pasquarello. Hey, how are you? Good, blah, blah, blah. I'm good. How are you? Is now still a good time to talk? They say yes, because they scheduled a meeting with me. I say, okay, great. What do you have going on? Like, that's it. That's how I start the conversation. None of the awkward small talk, get to know you, icebreaker stuff. What do you have going on with your business? And then I let them talk. I let them talk for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Just let them talk. Take notes if you want. And then they usually have a couple questions after that. And then I usually basically say, like, after they tell me everything, I say, okay, great. Like, now let me tell you a little bit about what I do. And I start by saying, accountants can do multiple things for businesses. You have taxes, payroll, CFO services, and bookkeeping. That's pretty much what an accountant can do. Me, I'm just a bookkeeper. I try to keep things simple. I don't do taxes. I don't do payroll. I partner with a CPA. He can do all the taxes and the payroll for you. But me, I just do bookkeeping. Also, I only work with QuickBooks Online. Are you using QuickBooks Online right now? They say yes. Okay, great. They say no. I say, are you willing to switch to QuickBooks Online? They say yes. I say, great. They say no. I say, okay, if you're not willing to switch to QuickBooks Online, we can't work together. I only work with QuickBooks Online. But let's just assume that they do use QuickBooks Online or they're willing to switch. I say, okay, great. So for me, what I can offer you is right now, everything you are doing in QuickBooks, I'll do it for you. So bookkeeping is basically 3 things. I categorize your transactions, and I'll do that on a weekly basis. So I'm in your QuickBooks in real time, every single week, categorizing your transactions. And I reconcile your accounts every month, which means I'm gonna need your bank statements and credit card statements every month. And then finally, after your transactions are categorized, your accounts are reconciled, I generate your financial reports. So if you were my client, next week is the first week of March. If you were my client, you would be expecting your February profit and loss emailed to you sometime next week. I try to get everything done in the first 5 to 10 days of every month. That way you have all of your financial reports accurate and updated in a timely manner. That's pretty much my sales pitch. They say, okay, great. What's next? I say, all you need to do is invite me to your QuickBooks, and then I'll give you a quote. And they say, okay, great. And then I say, let me get your email address. And then I email them instructions on how to invite me to their QuickBooks. That's it. That's my sales pitch. Okay. Jameer Stanford, you said, what is your bookkeeping business annual income? 2021, it was 70,000. So isn't this so crazy? Like, I feel like some people are so weird about sharing their salary. Like, whenever I worked at Amazon, like, it's almost like against company policy for employees to talk about their salary. I don't get it. Honestly, I think that is a large contribution, like a big contributor to like wage gaps, wage discrepancies, wage variances, like 2 different people doing the same work getting paid differently. Like, in my opinion, that seems to be unfair. So I think if we were all a little bit more open, in like a non-judgmental, non-bragging way about our salary, about our income, I think it would be better off for the general public. But whatever, that's just my opinion. I am super open about all of this. If you want to judge me, you can. But my bookkeeping business annual income, you know what? I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to give you all of my income real quick. I was an officer in the military. I started out $50,000 a year. My first year, after 3 years, I was making like $65,000 a year. And then I went to Chewy as a warehouse manager. I made $70,000 in 2019. And then I went to Amazon. I worked at Amazon for 6 months. They paid me $100,000 a year as my salary. And then I quit Amazon in 2021, my bookkeeping business made $70,000. So I took a pay cut to leave Amazon and start my bookkeeping business. $70,000 my first year in my bookkeeping business. And then $120 my second year. And then like $280, maybe $300,000 my third year, 2023. That's my annual income. Last month in January, I made $50,000. So we'll see what happens in 2024. Easto Eden. I want to niche in trucking, Do your trucking clients expect you to file their IFTA taxes? Do you think trucking is a good niche? Trucking is an amazing niche. I think it's great. No, I do not file IFTA for anybody. Steele Sadler, I'm about 5 months in and haven't had any luck gaining clients. I'm still working hard, but definitely thought I would have a client by now. So Steele, I would challenge you. I would ask, are you truly creating social media marketing content every single day? And are you truly sending 50 friend requests every day? And are you engaging with 10 posts every single day? And are you following up in the form of a DM 30 days after you become friends with those people? If you're doing all of that, then maybe you need, so to do all of that is one thing. And I did all of that in the first year. Not only did I do that though, but you need to constantly reevaluate your results, or analyze your results and reevaluate your strategy. So if you just create the same stupid Facebook post every day, and if it just gets 2 likes and 1 comment, and they're both from family members every day, that's not what I'm talking about. Like, you need to do a better job. So it's one thing to create and Steele, let me just say, I'm not assuming you're doing this. I'm just kind of speaking to everybody at this point. So if you are creating a post every day and it's not getting attention, or it's not promoting engagement, or it's not leading to clients, you need to reevaluate your strategy. You need to follow somebody who's doing it, who's doing a good job, or do some research, or just figure it out. I don't know what the answer is for you, but if it's not working, if it's not growing, you need to reevaluate and do something different. Or if you are sending messages to all these people and no one's responding, then maybe you need to change your message or change your sales pitch. Or if you're sending a ton of friend requests and no one's accepting your friend request, maybe you need to change the Facebook groups. To do it is the first step. If you're not doing it, you got to do it. That's the first step. But then if you're doing it and not getting results, then you need to reevaluate. Honey nut heroin. Same, Steele Sadler. I'm 3 months in and was hoping I have a client or 2 by now. So same thing. First of all, do the strategy. Do the strategy every day for 30 days, every day for 60 days. And then if it's still not working, reevaluate the strategy, change something, or do it more. So if you're just doing it on Facebook, go to LinkedIn. If you're creating 1 post a day, maybe create 2 posts a day. If you're sending 50 friend requests a day, maybe send 70. If you get the idea. Let's see. For your trucking clients, do they deduct their meals on the books for exact amounts, or do they wait until filing taxes to do per diem? They deduct, they swipe their credit card at restaurants, and I just mark it as meals. What they do with the per diem is really up to them and their tax accountant. Do you offer a payment plan for your how to start a bookkeeping business? No, unfortunately, I don't right now. I think it's $1,200 for the course. My best recommendation for you is, if you really want to buy the course and you don't have enough money, you could get a credit card, a 12-month 0% interest credit card. And then you could just use the credit card to buy the course, and then you could just pay $100 a month on your credit card, and then it'll be paid off in 1 year. KR, is bookkeeping a dying career choice? Scared it will be obsolete in 5 to 10 years. I have no idea. Unfortunately, I wish I did. Let's see. The one thing I will say about that is, so there's 2 different trains of thought that I have. First of all, if there is new technology that comes out, I'm going to do my best to adapt and learn the new technology. First and foremost, whatever happens, I'm going to try to learn the new technology. There are a ton of bookkeepers right now from the early 2000s who used QuickBooks Desktop, and they hate QuickBooks Online. I can't tell you how many secretaries and office managers I've talked to on the phone. They were like, hey, my boss just switched to QuickBooks Online and I hate it. I don't know how to use it. It's so much different than QuickBooks Desktop. So now we're hiring you because I need help to learn QuickBooks Online. That's a great example of like the previous generation. Like they learned QuickBooks Desktop, but now everything's switching to QuickBooks Online 20 years later. So that's going to happen to us. In 10 or 20 years, something's going to replace QuickBooks Online. And what you decide to do with that new technology is going to determine your fate. So if you want to learn the new technology and adapt with the times, you're going to be okay. But if you're like some of those other people who are refusing to learn the new technology and are just stubborn in their ways, then you're going to become obsolete just like the old technology, just like QuickBooks Desktop. And then the other idea here is that there are dozens of things for you to worry about today, tomorrow, and next month, and in the summertime. Like, you get the idea. Like, there's a ton for you to worry about right now, and I would focus on that first and foremost. Like, focus on doing everything you have to do today. Focus on setting yourself up for success tomorrow so that you can grow your business in 3 months. I would not spend a whole lot of time worrying about what's going to happen in 5 years. That's just my opinion. Let's see. Susie, you said becoming a ProAdvisor would definitely help you in finding clients. I agree. I've gotten a couple clients from my ProAdvisor profile, but to be completely fair, I have not put any effort into my ProAdvisor profile, but I have heard a lot of people get clients from their ProAdvisor profile. Let's see. Steele, you said, I became a ProAdvisor the week I started my business. I'm starting to think Kansas City is not good for entrepreneurs. Maybe. Let's see. Suzmart, awesome. Thanks for helping me feel better about it. I am interested in becoming a ProAdvisor and I'm currently in a QBO class in college in the Small Business Entrepreneurship Program. That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Let's see. East of Eden. Have you dealt with clients who tried to claim their mortgage payment or car notes or any unjust expenses, and how did you handle that? So us as the bookkeeper, so here's the thing. Like, you need to protect yourself and don't get too frustrated. There's only so much you can do. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the business owner is responsible for their financial reports. The business owner is going to sign off on their tax return. So if they have $12,000 of car and automobile expenses at the end of the year because they wrote off their $1,000 car payment, that's on them. Like, they are signing their tax return. So me as a bookkeeper, I try to do my best. I will let people know, like, there's the home office deduction, there's the business use of your personal car, you have the standard mileage deduction, or you have the actual cost method. Like, I try my best to educate my clients on these various bookkeeping and tax concepts. And then ultimately at the end of the day, like, whatever the client tells me to do, I'm going to do. Like, that's just like, I'm not here to start fights or to be controversial with my clients. Like, if they want me to write off their personal car 100%, I'm going to do it. The one thing I will do is I will try to put things in writing. So if I just got off the phone with somebody and I say, like, hey, like, what is this car payment? They say, oh, just like, throw that in the automobile expense category. I would potentially try to put something in writing if I think that it could come back to bite me, if I think it's not correct or potentially like against IRS rules, then I would put it into writing, like, hey, client, just to recap what we talked about today, just wanted to verify you want me to put all of these monthly car payments into the automobile expense category. That's a good way to protect you. That way, whenever the tax accountant comes by and says, hey, what's this doing here? You can be like, hey, actually, the client told me to do this. Here's the email exchange that we had. But ultimately, the client is responsible for their books, their finances, their taxes, and everything. Let's see. So guys, I am going to wrap this up. I'm going to be here for like 10 more minutes, maybe. I'm getting kind of tired. Let's see. Simon Bradley, you mentioned prospective clients invite you to their QuickBooks. What do you do with their QuickBooks, or what do you show them to win their business? So whenever they invite me to their QuickBooks, I just give them a quote. That's all I'm doing. I don't spend any time doing anything else other than giving them a quote. And so after they invite me, all I do is look at their bank feed and their chart of accounts. So I look at all the transactions in the bank feed. I look at the 3 most recent months. So if I was quoting you right now, I would look at November, December, and January. I would count up all of your transactions in the bank feed to find all of the transactions that were not categorized yet. And then I would go to your chart of accounts. I'll go to your checking account and your credit card accounts, and I would look at all of the transactions from the 3 most recent months, add them all up together, divide that by 3. That's your average monthly transactions, and then multiply that by either $2 or $3, and that is your monthly bookkeeping cost. Let's see. So yeah, I don't really do, honestly, at least from my experience, I don't really do a whole lot of sales or convincing. Like I do a good job of clearly communicating my services in the sales pitch, in the sales consultation. But like, we're not selling solar panels. We're not trying to convince these people that they need bookkeeping services. They already know they need bookkeeping services because Uncle Sam and the IRS require that they file their taxes. So we really don't need to do a whole lot of convincing or selling. It's honestly pretty easy to sell our services. We just need to do a good job of delivering customer service so that we don't lose the clients. It's honestly pretty easy to get clients, but you got to do a good job so you don't lose the clients. So there's not really a whole lot of convincing I do to win their business. Let's see, Lady J. What mistakes stick out that you did in year 1 or major lessons learned? Thank you. So I'll give you one example of a sales and marketing mistake that I made. And this was not keeping track of my warm leads, not keeping track of people who expressed interest. So now I do it relentlessly and ruthlessly. Like if you call me or text me or email me, I'm getting your email address and I'm adding you to my Excel tracker, and I'm going to follow up with you every single month until you either hire me or tell me to stop contacting you. I did not do that for like the first 2 years. I didn't start doing it until halfway through 2023. And now I literally have a list of 100 business owners who I email every month who have expressed interest, but just haven't like finished signing up with me yet. So hopefully they turn into clients. That was a mistake that I made with sales and marketing. Honestly, if I have any QuickBooks or bookkeeping mistakes, so in the beginning, a mistake I made, I offered to work in person and I offered to work with QuickBooks Desktop. And I got so stressed out trying to learn QuickBooks Desktop that like after I did that honestly for like 8 months. In the beginning, I worked with QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop, and I had 3 clients who I went to their office to work in person, and I was working for $50 an hour, and I thought that was amazing, which it was. Like $50 an hour is good pay, but now I make like $200. I don't charge hourly, but now like the actual amount of time I spend bookkeeping and the amount of money I make per month, I end up making about $200 per hour. So now for me to go into somebody's office and get paid $50 an hour is just a waste of my time. But the mistake I made was trying to do in-person stuff and work with QuickBooks Desktop. I don't know about you guys, but like me, whenever I went to these people's offices, I felt like an employee. Like I felt like I had to act busy, and I felt like I had to like make it look like I was doing bookkeeping for the whole 2 hours that I was there. And that's not why I signed. Like I couldn't take phone calls. I had to like go to the bathroom and like text my wife, like if I wanted to like send a text message. I was like, this is not why I got into entrepreneurship. This is not why I'm self-employed, so that I can like feel like an employee at these offices. So working in person was horrible. Would not recommend it. I love working remotely. I can do whatever I want. I can work for 30 minutes and I can go outside and walk around and take a break if I want to. And I stay away from QuickBooks Desktop. If I were you, if I were starting all over again, I would never work with QuickBooks Desktop, and I would never go in person anywhere. All right, got 5 more minutes left. Let's see if I can get through all of these questions. Why did you delete 1-hour video where you explained how to use QuickBooks in detail? I'm not sure what you're talking about. If I deleted a video, it was on accident. I'm not sure if I deleted it or not, but I do apologize. Lady J, if your client is willing to switch to QuickBooks Online, do you charge a one-time setup fee? This is a great question. So do I charge a one-time setup fee? So this is kind of a loaded question. How do I charge new clients? So first of all, I always ask the client, when do you want me to start? And people get confused. Whenever I tell them I charge $500 a month, they just assume that they get me for a month for $500. And I often need to explain, no, my monthly fee is related to the transactions I'm categorizing. So if you want me to categorize transactions in January and February, that's going to be $500 times 2 months. That's going to be $1,000. And that literally just happened to me yesterday. I onboarded this new real estate investor. I told him it's going to be $950 a month. And I said, when do you want me to get started? He said, don't worry about 2023, but I'll definitely need help with January and February. I said, great. I sent him an invoice for $950 times 2. I sent him a $1,900 invoice and he paid it right away. Like no questions asked. And I made sure to clearly write on the invoice, like line 1, bookkeeping January, $950. Bookkeeping February, $950. So just because you're paying me $950 a month and I'm working in February, that doesn't, like, I'm not going to touch January transactions unless you pay me for January. So that's often like kind of confusing. I usually have to kind of walk people through that. So that's the first point. The second point is that I always have clients tell me when you want me to start. And this is for 2 reasons. First, like, I don't want to be responsible for telling a client your books look good through December, I'll just start January. Because then if mistakes were made in 2023, all of a sudden it's my fault. And that's crazy because I didn't do any of your bookkeeping. So if a client says, like, I want you to, like, let me know, like, I want you to start, let me know when you think you should start, I'll tell them, like, I'll require that they tell me when to start. I'll say, like, hey, I didn't do any of your bookkeeping in 2023. So, like, I don't know what your books look like in 2023. I can try to reconcile your accounts, but if your accounts don't reconcile, then there's no way for me to figure out the variance or the mistakes without going through each month. Usually, like, seriously, if you want me to, like, go back to October, I don't care what's been done. If you want me to go back to October, I'm charging you full price. I'm charging you $500 a month for October, November, December, January, and February. And then usually whenever I tell people that, they're like, okay, I don't care about 2023. Like, just start fresh in January. Like, I would rather do that than say, hey, I'll just charge you $1,000 setup fee and I'll go back to October and just, like, try to clean things up. Like, that to me is not worth it, because going back and making sure that their books are, like, up to date and accurate, like, through 2023 is usually such a pain, because they're leaving their old bookkeeper for a reason, because some things were not done correctly, which means that there's going to be a ton of mistakes, which means it's actually harder for us as bookkeepers to go in and clean up books than it is to just, like, do all of the bookkeeping from scratch. So just because half of the transactions are categorized, it doesn't mean I'm going to give you a 50% discount on my monthly fee, because chances are a ton of transactions are wrong, accounts aren't reconciled, it's usually a mess. So this is a long answer, and this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. But setup fee, I don't charge a setup fee, but I do charge full price for every month you want me to do bookkeeping. So I hope that answered your question, and I will do another live stream here soon. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to send me an email or join my Facebook group. There's a ton of links in the description of this video. I'll see you.